Very good question, and indeed, as I said earlier, and my colleagues mentioned, I mean, most governments have pushed interest rates down to almost zero or even negative.
A billion people on the planet can't go to all the same 10 places. You know, it's just not going to fit. So we need, and destinations need to be clever about how they develop tourism in their country to disperse it more.
But at least when I'm connected, then we know the total supplies that can be produced. And audit trail will help as well, because you will know which country produce it and what standards they use.
I think of it into two different ways. So first of all, if we are talking about the large agriculture manufacturer, large agriculture conglomerate,
we protecting them or are we exposing them? Can I come to you first, Callum?
Of course, a really important question. So I think in any context, technology and innovation more broadly, they're just tools.
That shows a relationship. It is not, you're not looking for a party or a company that will just sell you a product. You are looking for a partner that journeys with you in your journey to becoming a smart.
We're really always looking at the people and how it's connected back to the place. And so that's done with storytelling. And part of it is also interpretation. So a lot of places have a ton of tangible heritage.
They have to become more like the facilitator for these activities to take place, especially for a country like Malaysia and Vietnam, where the government actually indeed still own a lot of the business on the ground, and a lot of them are related to the supply chain.
I'm concerned about in terms of cooperation, in terms of collaboration across the value chain in addressing this kind of issue. Because this is not just an issue for the producers, it is an issue for the entire value chain.
So first of all, I agree. I don't think 6 months see us at the post-COVID era. I think it's like we don't even know what the damage, what the financial damage is globally. Like, and you mentioned at the beginning, the industry, they don't tell us the story.
Need to have labor, but gradually what we need to do is build the skill of these laborers for using the technology in the right way.
We talk about inflation around the world and why we don't have it, or the argument against it, and that's because of technology. And I think we're just going to see an acceleration of that. And Professor Keane, who's way smarter than me, he talks about efficiency and resilience.
As a job benefit that we will have to give out to our people. And so when we talk about cost savings on the infrastructure bit in the physical office location, and yes, rental has gone down significantly.
Although I do say crude oil does have an impact, but those impact is actually very minimal at this point in time, because if you just look at why prices rally in the past couple of weeks, I think CPO price actually take a very steep rally due to its fundamentals.
Or you have a great technology, but it's just lying under its potential, somewhere stored because you cannot leverage it really, the value, because there is a missing innovation, missing product, a missing business model around.
We responding as you say we should.
I think, Ibrahim, if you were to look into what happened in Malaysia, for example.
So I think there is this inflated demand that's not real in the initial reaction. You know, whenever my friends over in the United States, they walk around, it used to, in the very beginning, when they walked around the markets, everybody had like gloves on and a mask on, and they, gloves are on the floor.
I think we know that we have been taking things from the ocean. We have been using the ocean, but much of the treasures from the ocean, to me, is uncharted.
At the hotel dining area, at the cafeteria or whatever, you can mingle there. I would like to have a mini movie room for the old people, so that when they can have time.
One has to look at the aspiration for quality aged care or suitable environment for our seniors versus what's pragmatic on site, which actually takes into account of affordability of our seniors and what they can pay for. I'll start with the aspiration.
Personally, I felt that when I've been living in this house for almost more than 30 years, and when it's time for me to think of renovating it, I really need to think hard.
Yeah.
How should I do this? Because we all know cost is important.
So at the end of the day, I think anything community-based is about fostering trust, building relationships, getting to know each other. So that's where the fun part is, because how do you get to know each other, and then how do you get creative so that healthy living, taking care of your health, prevention, and managing and reaching out for services.
Startups or disruptors create a solution back for the governments, which is much more easy, which is easily deployable, right? In terms of reference architecture, in terms of the overall financing, right?
My view, I think, is about engagement. I think we need to make sure all the stakeholders are engaging. And any project that we do, when we have a lot of win-win-win scenarios, the project will be successful.